In a faraway forest, where a swarm of evil creatures encircles a young adventurer named Dale as he slashes through the animals one by one, displaying his relentless agility. Dale notices motion in the neighboring bushes and turns in that direction. At this point, he first encounters Latina, a little child of the devil race who is lost in the jungle. Latina focuses on Dale's fish as he raises his sword to smite the young devil. He claims the young child must be starving and extends the food to her. The small girl, who is surprised, places her trust in him and advances to consume the fish. Upon closer inspection, Dale notices the young girl's broken horn, which indicates that Latina may have committed a sin for which her people exiled her. The ravenous Latina brags about the fish before leading Dale to several bodies lying in the woods. One of the bodies may be that of a male devil who passed away in this jungle and left the young Latina on her own. Dale helps Latina dig a burial for her deceased father despite not understanding her language. Despite her limited abilities as a young Latina, she thanks Dale for his thoughtful act. Latina is alone in the woods after her father's passing, which presents serious risks, and Dale decides to take her with him to his house in Cruz despite the dangers. Latina clings to Dale to feel safe and secure because she sees hope in traveling with him. Cruz's city is split into two districts. The nobles live in the northern district, while the opposite side of the town is home to the ordinary people. The second largest city in the Labong Empire is where Dale resides. The guard stops them at the door and expresses her concerns about the Latina's race. However, Dale keeps Latina under his watchful eye before entering the building to pay the toll. Rita, a cheerful and energetic waitress in the busy metropolis, listens to her customers and ensures they are served delicious cuisine. Every attendee mentioned her name because of the fantastic service she provided. A talented chef, Kenneth methodically prepares the dishes for the guests behind the scenes. Despite his doubts, Kenneth is not pleased with bringing a girl like Latina to the city when Dale and Latina enter the kitchen. Dale brings Latina to his house, which he shares with Rita and Kenneth. Dale prepares Latina for a shower because he realizes how important it is for her to clean her body, which is coated in muck and dirt. He insists on rinsing her despite Latina's first resistance because he knows a bath is necessary for her appearance. Rita enters the loo in a startling turn of events and quakes upon seeing Dale with a child. Dale, perplexed by the circumstance, tells Rita about how he found Latina, but Rita is primarily worried about his choice. Later in the cafe, everyone becomes increasingly interested in the Latina's beauty after this moment. Rita enters the scene via the message board, but neither Latina nor her father's head is the target of any bounty. Surprisingly, her record is not on the negative list. For their young visitors, Rita sets a table and supplies scrumptious food. Rita believes that because Latina is so foreign to this place, an orphanage is not the best option for her. Meanwhile, Latina nods as soon as her head touches the pillow after a long day. The fear of losing her only support is palpable in her eyes when Dale departs the bed the following morning, allowing her to clutch to him in desperation. For Latina, Kenneth makes breakfast, which surprisingly includes a sweet dish. For Latina, Kenneth typically does not make sweets in the morning, but out of love for the child, he deviates from his custom. Rita covertly alters Latina's appearance after breakfast to keep her identity a secret. While this happens, Dale takes Latina on a shopping spree, visiting several stores and buying anything she wants, resulting in many products. Rita is shocked by Dale's abrupt behavior shift when they get back. Dale is eventually persuaded by her support and developing a passion for the young Latina to decide against all odds to adopt her. The following morning, Rita tries to figure out why he has such a lengthy face. Dale claims that his magic beast hunt customer has asked for a report on the hunt. He usually provides body parts or the remaining items approved, but he brought nothing since Latina was his priority. Dale must now accompany the client to where he searched for the magical monsters. Concerned about the Latina behind him, Rita convinces Dale to join the expedition by promising to take excellent care of Latina while he is gone. Despite the likelihood that Dale will return by dusk, he indulges in pet tricks due to his intense love for the young Latina. Nick keeps herself busy assisting Kenneth and Rita in the tavern as Dale leaves for work, and Latina cleans the tables, helps to fill the tables, and carefully carries the plates back. Unexpectedly, Kenneth commends her efforts and encourages Latina to participate in the cafe activities freely, and she is rewarded for her tenacity with a dessert. Kenneth says he never realized how wonderful having a child might be and advises them to consider having their children. Rita concurs, admitting that having children is a happy and gratifying experience. Later that night, when Dale comes back to the tavern, she lifts her hurries upon him and hugs him to show her love for him. In contrast, Dale is shocked and taken aback when he hears Latina picking up their language swiftly. He flips his head in disbelief at her remarkable improvement due to his extreme surprise. When Dale asks Rita about her day, Rita remarks on how impressed she is with Latina's quick learning. She asserts that Latina paid close attention to them and swiftly adjusted to their jobs. She has a remarkable range of abilities and learns differently than most kids. Latina quickly acclimates to the conventions and daily routine of the pub in just 1 week. She diligently participates in the events, and her closeness to Kenneth inspires jealousy in others. When she learns he is departing for the southern area, Letitia asks Dale to go with Kenneth, and Dale reluctantly agrees. Dale firmly tells Latina to spend all of her time with Kenneth. But even as she agrees with his advice, the opposite occurs in the southern district. Latina loses track of Kenneth without his knowledge as she becomes lost in the city's distractions. Kenneth doesn't realize she has left his side until she has already been lost in the urban jungle. Kenneth comes to the bar and tells Dale about the emergency after being unable to find her anywhere. Rita asks patrons at the pub for assistance and even makes a passionate promise to reward anyone who finds Latina. On the other hand, Latina is abandoned and met by a bunch of lads who frighten and intimidate her. In response to the lads picking on a young girl, Chloe rushes to her aid and beats them. However, as Latina uses her magic to cure their wounds, the lads repent of their rude behavior and quickly become friends, and the children decide to assist Latina by safely returning her to the south. The children encounter Eldestin on their way to the bar, and he transports them there. As a reward for assisting a friend, the children receive candy. Eldestin transports them back to the northern district in safety. When Dale enters the bar and discovers Latina standing before him with tears welling up in her eyes and shame, he opens with a slam. Latina apologizes sincerely for her carelessness, understanding the repercussions of her actions. In reaction, Dale hugs her fiercely while expressing his love and worry. Latinas have caused Dale to develop a resistance to working. Although he has been asked to complete a task in the capital, he plans to forego it and remain with Latina. Rita thinks Dale should concentrate on his work as well. Dale can bring her fresh gifts from the capital if he decides to go there. Confounded, Dale reluctantly agrees to Rita's recommendation and travels to the nation's capital. Letitia bids Dale luck on his new trip the following morning. Dale warns Latina that she must be courageous without him because his journey will last longer. A dragon rider takes Dale on his voyage to the capital, who seems terrified the entire time due to Dale's well-known dread. Unbeknownst to the rider, Dale is wholly preoccupied with the thoughts of Latina and is, as a result, lost in his world. Lord Gregor receives him at his mansion in the capital. Lord Gregor, who is in pain, tells Dale repeatedly that he cannot talk about his fiancée because they are not engaged. When Dale admits to having raised a devil girl, Gregor is turned upside down. Dale is known for making audacious judgments, but this one is even more startling than usual. Dale tells how difficult it was to leave the young child behind and confesses his attachment to her. Nevertheless, Lord Gregor clarifies Dale's call and says why he came. According to reports, they have located the 7th Demon Lord's demon minions. The lower demons offer their services to the demon lords for incredible power. They have been sent to attack the servants. In this mission, Lord Gregor will be assisting. He is much more grounded than the other nobility and loves to put himself on the first line of defense instead of hiding behind soldiers like other nobles. Duke Estrades briefs the group later on regarding their designated mission. On the way to the location, they must disarm and ambush the Demon Lord's minions. Dale is tormented by Latina's ideas all the time. His change equally astounds Gregor. On the other hand, Latina's persistent efforts have allowed her to become an expert in a few cuisines. Customers at the pub frequently ask Latina to bring them their meal so they may see her adorable smile. However, Latina cannot get over her anguish for Dale's absence. Latina is speaking about her history for the first time. Latina's family disowned her out of concern that she would damage their reputation. A male devil named Rock eventually grabbed her, loved her, and fought for her. But following Rock's tragic passing, Latina wondered if she had brought bad luck to everyone around her. After losing all her support, she meets Dale, who welcomes her without reservation and does not inquire about her history, providing her with the acceptance and love she desperately needs. Chloe asks Latina to enroll in the school, which starts each autumn, so that she may meet people her age. Rita promises to talk with Dale about the likelihood and to take her to the school before it closes soon. Dale advises that the ground in this particular portion of the forest is hot, which draws dragons to the spot deep within the jungle. They suddenly come to a group of dragons surrounding distant, menacing-looking folks. They examine the situation and quickly conclude that the Demon Lord's servants, who stand menacingly close to the terrifying monsters, are in charge of the dragons. The ground beneath their feet trembles as Dale unleashes his vicious arsenal of spells. Dale and his team assaulted and defeated the demon servants one by one. Finally, Dale encounters a young woman who appears to be their leader. They successfully capture the girl when the girl attacks Dale, and their goal is complete. Dale quickly leaves the important banquet the Duke is hosting and returns to Latina, who is eagerly awaiting Dale. Rita explains that Latina claims to smell Dale's calming perfume from the bed. She prefers to sleep alone in Dale's room than with her. Thanks for watching. If this series is the most liked in my anime recap production, I will make a part 2. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to help me make more content.